a man on social media posted a mysterious photo. He said that a strange handprint appeared on his wall, and no matter how hard he tries it doesn't come off. He also notes that there's a couple of partial handprints below it. The individual goes on to say that he's seen many unidentified flying objects throughout his life, and that he's even been in contact with these beings. He says that this handprint is definitely not human, and when he's tried to line his hand up with it, it doesn't match, saying that the fingers are almost 2 inches longer than that of a human's. He said the following: "This is a video of a handprint that was left on my bedroom wall back in February. It only appears under certain lighting conditions, and it isn't a smudge. I can't wipe it away. I tried to demonstrate both qualities in this video. There are also a couple of partial prints in the lower left. The proportions of the hand are very narrow, but what really struck me is that the thumb is out of position. I can't align my thumb in the same position as the thumb in the print. I have a long history with abductions, and have photos of markings, handprints and footprints, and some of them date back decades. Why is this on my wall? My guess could be technology. The aliens typically come in and out through the ceiling. I assume this is similar to the technology that allows UAPs to pass through water at high speeds. Given the orientation of these handprints, they were left when the aliens were exiting the room at the end of the abduction. My assumption is that they're steadying themselves, or using the wall to guide themselves upward, although I've never been positioned where I could observe. The partial prints are low enough that they were possibly the first place their hands contacted. My guess is that their hands exude an enzyme, or are coated with an applied substance, which I'm particularly sensitive to. I have a photo where it irritated my skin and left a partial handprint on my chest, which I'll try to add to the comments. My guess is that's why a handprint only appears under certain light and can't be wiped away. Rather than dirt or something leaving a mark, the assumed enzyme interacted with the paint. I've been silent about my experiences, which date back to my early childhood, but with the growing acceptance of UAPs, it seemed like the time to begin to share." End quote. People in the comment section were interested in the handprint and asked various questions, to which the poster responded with the following. There were some excellent questions raised about the handprint video, some of which could be categorized as, you or some other human could have made them. At first I wasn't sure how to compare my handprint with the handprint that was left on the wall. Then I came up with the idea of using olive oil in a printer to make my own handprint. To get a clean print of my hand, I had to use exactly the right amount of olive oil and press on my right hand with my left, mostly around the pinky and the pinky side of the palm. If I didn't press, there were gaps left on the paper where my finger and palm didn't touch. Once that was accomplished, I put the photographs side by side and began comparing them. Apologies for the less than sharp photo of the handprint on the wall. The readability of the measuring tape should give you an indication as to the amount of blur. This is due entirely to the fact that the handprint disappears except in low light. If I use a supplemental light source, such as what I did when I was photographing my own handprint, or turn on the overhead light, the handprint on the wall disappears. I demonstrated this in the video. Once again, I'm not trying to convince anyone, I'm simply sharing in the interest of disclosure. Observation 1. The handprints are of different sizes. The handprint on the wall is approximately 9.5 inches, from the tip of the middle finger to the base of the palm. By comparison, my hand is approximately 7.25 inches, from the tip of the middle finger to the base of the palm. If you use your own ruler to compare the size of your own hand, the handprint on the wall is unsettlingly large. Observation 2. The handprints are proportioned differently. The fingers of the handprints on the wall are at least 5 inches long, making up slightly more than 50% of the entire 9.5 inch hand length. By comparison, the fingers of my handprint are approximately 3.25 inches, which is less than 50% of the entire 7.25 inch hand length. Observation 3. The handprints are shaped differently. The base of my palm is significantly wider when compared to the width of my fingers. By comparison, the base of the palm of the handprint on the wall is roughly the same width as the fingers. Observation 4. The handprints have different thumbs. The thumb of the handprint on the wall is parallel to the fingers. My thumb naturally arcs outward from my hand. Additionally, the thumb of the handprint on the wall overlaps the boundary line between fingers and palm. It's impossible for me to move my thumb into this position. Observation 5. Only one of the handprints appears to have knuckles. My fingers naturally deviate at each knuckle. There is no such deviation on the handprint on the wall. The fingers of the handprint on the wall appear to be uniform in width from tip to base. Observation 6. Different finger anatomy. Human fingers are never perfectly straight. The fingers of the handprint on the wall appear to be perfectly straight. Observation 7. Captured action. This is subtle, but if you compare the placement of the fingertips to the palm, especially the index and middle fingers, they are slightly angled towards the ceiling. This implies a downward pull on the hand once the fingers came into contact with the wall. Placing a handprint on the wall would be static, like my handprint on paper. The handprint on the wall seems to have been left in the middle of an action. What's really interesting in my opinion is the applied anatomy behind the handprint on the wall. For a human to put their thumb in the same position would require a completely different hand structure than what we have. The fingers are longer than a human's, and are perfectly straight where ours are not. This difference would suggest differences in underlying anatomy as well. In closing, it's impossible for this to be my own hand. As you can see here, my hand is a smaller size, and structured differently than the handprint on the wall. It's also highly unlikely this is another human's hand, for the reasons above, and as I've lived in the same place for almost 2 years, and this print wasn't on the wall prior to its discovery. A bit of background. I've been abducted multiple times since childhood. I've documented large portions of it, but this is the first time I've shared outside of a handful of trusted friends. That said, I appreciate the supportive response to the video, and intend to share more in the days ahead. Once again, I'm sharing this comparison purely for purposes of disclosure, and you are invited to draw your own conclusions. So what do you guys make of this interesting video? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.